Galvanizer. Hello and welcome. My name is Becky and this is the Magical Becky Me channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and being here today. I've had equal feelings about this video. It's going to be super emotional and I apologize in advance because I'm already crying. I'm not even talking about anything yet, so just so you know, it's going to be a very emotional video, at least for me, if not for you guys. For my 3-year anniversary, I wanted to share with you guys why I wanted to start my YouTube channel. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I hope it's going to be pretty short, but we will see. I have no written out notes. It's just me talking about my channel. It's just me talking about my channel. We'll start with a little less heavy stuff first. And I do want to put in a disclaimer. I'm going to be using language and terms that I am familiar with. I'm a highly religious person. That is just, I'm not going to bring religion into this other than how I talk and say certain things. Like you'll hear me say, I felt prompted. That is me saying that I felt like I was divinely asked, I guess, if to put it very casually. To start. But anyways, so that's my disclaimer. I'm going to say that you can choose whatever iteration you want to put into your thoughts to make it believable for you, but this is just me telling my truth and my story. So that is out of the way. We will go ahead and start. I will start on the lighter things. It was a long time coming, to be honest with you. I planned a trip to Disneyland with my mom and my brother in 2019. We wanted to go see Galaxy's Edge in all of its new glory. It had been opened in Disneyland. We live in Utah, so we're closer to Disneyland than we are to Florida and Walt Disney World, so I've only ever been to Disneyland up to this point. So we were planning our trip, and we also went to Universal Studios. We did a day in Universal and we did a day in Disneyland. And my brother and I started doing research and watching YouTube videos, and that was when I started to deep dive into YouTube Disney, like hardcore. And even after our Disneyland trip came and went, I was still super into all of these Disney YouTubers, and I'd watch them post their content, and I became super interested in maybe wanting to start a channel, but I was very nervous to do that, and I'm not a great social speaker. I don't like talking in front of people. I get super nervous when I have to give speeches or talks, and I was and it's sprouted since at middle school or even elementary school when I had to do presentations in school. I was not the kid who was excited to be in front of my classmates or do that. I just feel super nervous about it every single time I do it. So that had me very nervous about it. That being said, I had this idea that I really wanted to start a YouTube channel. And this was like 2020, COVID hit, and I became YouTube was like the only saving grace that I had. Like I would cry with people who were going through withdrawals from going to work and doing their normal everyday life, and we were all in that same state, and it was hitting hard, and people just creating joyful content, or even not joyful content, and just having a really bad day and talking about it. And I thought it was really beautiful, and I thought if they could do that, if they could be vulnerable, so could. Then 2021 passed, and my thoughts of starting a YouTube channel like became stronger, and then, but I was still too afraid to do anything. And then 2022 hit, and this was when I started. 2022 was when I started my channel in September. I was super nervous, very excited, and I'm pretty sure my first video was a pin unboxing, a blank box pin unboxing. And I had my first comment from somebody who I admired and loved watching for so long, and I think it was Jake's Disney Afternoon, so I was super excited. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Like, I felt like I was being prompted. There's that word. I felt like I was being very prompted to start my channel. And it gave me the courage I had to start my channel. And I think I'm gonna only use it maybe that one time, or I might use it when I talk about starting my channel. But I felt a really strong impression that I was being prompted to start my channel, and it gave me the courage to go for it, so I did. And then I jumped into it head on. I pretty sure I had about 6 swaps that I ended up doing between September and January of that year. And I just couldn't say no to any of the swaps. Anytime I was invited into a swap, which I was so graciously invited to these amazing swaps with people that I had been watching and admiring for since 2019. Disney Crazy Family being one of them. They invited me into several, like a swap. And then Creatively Sandra, who I had started watching, was in this swap, and she was the hostess, and I was just super excited. That was just one of the swaps, and I was just really excited. I jumped head first. I dove right in, and I started doing swaps. But boy, am I grateful that I did. So my channel started in September. A couple months pass, and I feel like my YouTube channel saved my life. I'm going to reveal stuff that I've never revealed before publicly on my channel. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I'm a private person, but I feel like you guys should know. I feel like you guys should know what's going on with me. So I do need to back up a little bit. So in 2014, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. I had it under control, and then in 2020, the world shut down. I was laid off from my job, and therefore I had no insurance to help pay for the necessary medication that I needed. There was an over-the-counter insulin, that I started to use, and it was $25 every month. So it was highly affordable, but possibly the wrong medication for me to use. So I was using that for the 2 years between 2020 and 2022, excuse me. Because like I said, YouTube saved my life. And so I was dealing with that in from 2020 to 2022. I was using the over-the-counter insulin. There was also a recall around that time on metformin, and I was too nervous to try metformin. Couldn't go to a doctor. I didn't have insurance. So there was no point. And at that time, I was also being stubborn and refusing to check my levels consistently. I was being a fool, and I was being an idiot, and I fully admit to that. I'm doing a lot better now. Obviously I'm here, I'm in front of you, but I screwed up. That being said, I thought that I had everything under control up until I didn't. Like I said, I felt prompted to start my channel. In November of 2022, this is where we're going to get into nitty gritty. November of 2022, it was the week of Thanksgiving in 2022. That Sunday, I took a COVID test and it was positive. That's mostly the last thing I remember up until Wednesday. On Monday, my father, this is why I think YouTube saved my life. My father, whom I was living with at the time, he was bringing me a package that was shipped for a swap that I was involved in. He brought my package downstairs to me, and then he found me unconscious in the bathroom. Don't remember my first ambulance ride, but I think I'm pretty grateful for that. But took a ambulance ride to the hospital. And I was unconscious for about 2 days. And I woke up on Wednesday. And when I was in the hospital, I was diagnosed then with type 1 diabetes. So that being said, I have since then started wearing a sensor, taking better care of myself. I would rather eat real chocolate, not the sugar-free kind. I would rather eat one bite of something that's really delicious instead of eating something that is less delicious and that I could eat a little bit more of. Like, I would rather take one bite of something amazing than not. But I am a type 1 diabetic. If you remember, in 2022, in December, I sounded horrible. Because I was dealing, like I said, I was dealing with COVID, and then I had a breathing tube. And apparently, I don't remember this, but apparently I was very, like, I would have ripped I probably would have ripped the tube out of my mouth, out of my throat itself. Not to be gross, not to be blunt, but, like, I was really struggling, and I wanted the tube out when I was breathing on my own. And so I think that may have damaged my throat a little bit. I don't know, but it took me a long, long time to get my voice back. And it was super stressful. It was scary to me. Like, I wanted my voice back more than anything. But that was why I sounded so horribly all throughout that first month or two. So, like, that December and probably into January, I sounded like I had a really bad cold for like a month. But I am doing better. Like I said, I have a sensor in. This is my sensor. It helps me monitor my glucose. It tells me if I'm low or if I'm high, and it's doing its job. It's doing a really good job of taking care of me, and I am also checking my sugars constantly because I don't want a repeat of what happened. So that was why I started my channel. Currently, I don't know why, but I'm struggling to find stuff that has me excited enough to want to film. Fortunately, I have my collaborations and I have my Harry Potter stuff. I have a bunch of Legos that I haven't shown you yet that I've built. I've basically only been participating in collaborations right now at this point, instead of finding ways to do that. And I'm trying to figure out why, because I love you guys and I want to be there for you guys, but I'm also, I don't know if I'm losing my passion in this, which would make me very sad because I love doing this, and I get a thrill when I see comments, and I'm excited that I get to respond to them. And I apologize that I don't check as often, even though I say I'm excited to get the comments. I'm just not as motivated lately to check those. And I would love advice from fellow YouTube content creators on how you deal with possible burnout, or what you do when you feel like this. I don't want to give up on my channel. It is something that I am super passionate about it, but it's just, I don't know if it's just not the same, or I would just love any advice that you guys have. Because I do have goals for this channel. They are small. My goal right now is just to get to 500 subscribers, but if I keep going the way I'm going, I'm not going to get there. And I would love advice. I know I've made promises of showing you guys content that I have yet to show you. And that is something that I want to make up to you in October. I want to show you everything that I've promised to show that I haven't. And if I miss something, please let me know what it is. In the comments, say, hey Becky, what about this? You promised, you said you were going to show us this, and you haven't shown us yet, and I will get right on that. Please let me know. And if you have any advice on how to deal with potential burnout, I would love to hear your thoughts on how to overcome those things. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate and love you guys so much, and I hope you enjoy this video and gain some insights on me, and thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Good issue dudes.